name for damn, I gotta get the bottle. Invictus Aqua, Clone War. Really gotta move. Alright, so Invictus Aqua was released in who cares? Honest to God, I'm sorry you guys. There have been so many different kinds of Invictus Aquas, and if you're like me, then you probably don't know which one's which. Like 2016, 2018, 2012, they released so many different versions and flankers. They brought out the initial one in 2016. It was rumored to be one of the best ones, and then they reformulated and they turned it into a not frosted glass, and then they came out with this. You see what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Like, why did they even do that? My guess would be that some of the ingredients probably was regulated. I don't even know. Maybe a money grab. Who cares? Who knows? What we're going to be talking about here today are alternatives, cheaper alternatives that get close to Invictus Aqua. In its current form, in its old form, just Invictus Aqua as I know it. So the original one, basically. No, it's going to be the Invictus Aqua, the original formulation that came out. So what you're going to expect is something aromatic, fresh, aquatic, and a little bit bubblegummy sweet. This fragrance gets compliments to this day. And in fact, Invictus, the original, I still smell it in the air sometimes. And the other day I was at Best Buy, asked one of the employees what he was wearing. He was wearing the original Invictus. It smells good. It works. Longevity for the newest batches, this one right here, which was 2024 release, some kind of travel exclusive, gave me about 6.5, 7 hours. It's a significant increase or, improvement from the current formulation that's just not frosted. The original one did also last a good 8 to maybe even 12 hours. It was a pretty strong fragrance, but the scent profile for this one is pretty true to the 2016. With this spawned a bunch of cheapies, and we're going to be talking about exactly that, the cheapies that this spawned. Starting off with something that's the most detached and working our way towards the closest one. Kicking things off with something that seems like more so of a hybrid between Invictus Aqua and Bleu de Chanel is going to be Shiaka by Khadlej. This is a great scent profile. Is it the closest clone? Absolutely not. I wouldn't even call it a clone of either Bleu de Chanel nor Invictus Aqua. It just gives me this musky blue, a little aquatic and sweet, coming out of the shower style of fragrance. Total longevity for this one it's a pretty long lasting fragrance, 7 to about 10 hours I would say, and it's that musky blue nature with the sweetness that helps with this one. It's fresh, sweet, very aromatic as well, and gets compliments. In terms of its longevity, like I said, it's a good 8 to 10 hours, which is generally speaking above average. Its projection is something that's going to leave scent trails, but I would say moderate of about 2 to 3 feet. And how you measure it, basically if you're moving around and you can get wafts of it, that's at least 1 foot, depending on where you sprayed it. So if I'm spraying it on my nips, then that's about 1 foot to my nose, unless I'm like, but anyways. So yeah, about 1 to 2 feet, maybe even 3 feet. So it's a pretty good projecting fragrance. The first hour though, it's definitely close to something of a room filler, but not necessarily the biggest room in the world. So about 4 feet for the first hour. In terms of the occasions for all of these scent profiles, these can work every single day. They'll be the best for like casual use, daily use. I mean, would I dress it up to like a date? Potentially, if it's like a first date and you just want to leave a lasting good impression, you want to smell clean. This is one that women seem to love. So it would even work for dates. Special events, I mean, all that stuff. It's not really something that's like wow or outstanding, but you could wear it every single day and even to an event, or sorry, even to a date if you're trying to impress somebody for the very first time. So that's pretty much it for Shiaka's Khadlej. I think that this one, or Khadlej Shiaka, I think that this one is great for the price point around 30, 35 bucks. Check all the links down in the description as always. It's very viable and one of the best ones in terms of the scent quality and profile. Moving on to the next one, this is going to be Lattafa's Najdia. Najdia was one of the first ones as well that I got my nose on that smelled like this whole Invictus Aqua DNA, except for the fact that it's not the most expensive smelling fragrance. So it does have the aquatic and aromatic facets, a little bit sweet as well, but it seems like there's a little bit of a synthetic vibe to it. It's still not bad. It's pretty tolerable, especially if you're used to the cheaper fragrances, but it is one of the older ones. So since then, Lattafa themselves have come out with much higher scent profile, scent quality profiles, including with this DNA as well. What this one smells like is just like the other one, so it's fresh, sweet, aromatic. It does have a sexy vibe to it, this entire DNA for most of the women, and the performance for this one is a good 4 to 6 hours. I would personally say giving me mostly that upwards threshold of 6 hours. In terms of the occasions, like I said, all of these are going to be the exact same unless there's something worthy of noting. I'll let you guys know for the moving forward in the next fragrances. So final thoughts on this one for the price. It's not bad, but there is another contender that contends with this from the same brand in itself, and this is called Lattafa's Hayati. So Lattafa's Hayati is also very close to Najdia, except it seems a little less aquatic and more true to the Invictus Aqua. So if I had to compare this one to Najdia, I would say that this one focuses more on aquatics, whereas this one increases some of the amber woods. It just seems like a fixed version of Najdia. Najdia, more aquatic, you know, a bit more alcoholic, and this one a bit more amber woods and sweetness. Najdia is very popular, it's well known, it's well loved, and for very good reason. Sometimes you can find this for like 17 to 22 bucks, and it makes a good stocking stuffer. I don't know anybody that smelled this and disliked it. It's also that sweet, sexy, fresh, daily scent profile driver. In terms of how close it gets to the original though, I wouldn't give it more than about 70 to 75%. Although it's close, it's the quality that really detaches it from the original DNA. I mean, this one, you can really smell some of those aromatics, and most of the difference is going to be from the quality overall of these fragrances, and very specifically the ambergris. Not to say that obviously this isn't going to be anything of natural ambergris, but if this is a synthetic, good quality ambergris, this is going to be, you know, significantly less than that. Still, all things considered, it's great, and we're coming on the holiday seasons, or coming around too, and even without the holidays, this is a great gifting option to go with. Moving on to the next one, this is a designer that also capitalized, or, you know, tried to capitalize on this DNA. It's called Mont Blanc Legend Spirit, one of the best ones. Does not smell cheap at all. It does have a little bit more of a twist. It's less aquatic and even more so aromatic, but also does it a favor in terms of the way that it smells. It doesn't just go bubblegummy sweet. It also adds that slight herbal kick or touch to it that I personally love this for. So I cake this on. It really takes a lot of sprays to get this one to last, and I still get about 6 hours after spraying it on about 10 to 15 times. Yeah, that's actually how much I spray. Scent profile, the same exact thing. You're just going to get, like I said, a bit more of those herbs. And for me, that's more attention grabbing, honestly, and a bit more enjoyable too. This is a fragrance that you can keep in your glove box, in your book bag. I mean, most of these you can do exactly that with, but Legend Spirit, of the ones mentioned so far, has one of the better scent quality profiles. However, it is important to note as well that it's one of the more expensive ones as well. So that's pretty much it. It definitely smells like an Invictus Aqua clone. I would say clone, but even then we're still treading in that 75% territory, not really anything that's too close. Moving on to the next one, this is called the Hands Pacific, and this is the video that I think will clear the air as to what this is to Invictus Aqua. So now we're still kind of, actually we're cheaper than Mont Blanc Spirit, but we're getting closer to Invictus Aqua. This one doesn't necessarily have the whole ambergris similar to Spirit not having much of that quality ambergris, but it does do that DNA pretty damn nicely. It doesn't go as synthetic as the ones mentioned before, and what this one seems to have is a bit more of that ambergris aquatic DNA too. So it's still sweet, you still get a bit of those aromatics, it's a very mild undertone and amber woods with a higher quality seeming ambergris and the aquatic notes. Simple as that, no need to overcomplexify it. It's sexy, it's gotten me compliments, it's not the most show-stopping fragrance in the world, none of these are. This is Invictus Aqua, okay? It's been on the market forever, but it is important to have this video so, you know, for future guides, etc., if you're looking for the best one, because the scent profile, it's still a great one to have. I would still recommend having at least one of these. In fact, this one would be so different that if you grabbed one of the other ones and went with this one as well, you wouldn't be, you know, you'd probably enjoy both of them. Performance for Hand Pacific, 5 to 7 hours. If you're lucky, you might be able to squeeze another, you know, hour or two, but I am spraying this one at least 10 times. It isn't beast mode, but it's no chump either. In terms of how close Pacific is, I would say that this is getting closer to like 80-85%. So moving on to the next one, or actually before we move on, let me address the price point. This is around 30-35 bucks. Actually, I think it might even be $27. Check the links down in the description as always. So still cheaper than Mont Blanc Spirit, being in that similar quality range and price point. So Lattafa has killed it in terms of the scent profile at the price point. They definitely have, but overall, if you're looking for a bit higher quality, we're gonna be moving into exactly that. Moving on to the next one, this is a close runner-up to number 1. So we're at number 2 now. This is called Dumon's Axon Ultimate. This has a pretty serious dent for my collection. I've got 3,000 fragrances. Yeah, let that soak in for a second. And Axon Ultimate has to be one of my most worn in the last year. The reason is the quality. It smells at least designer quality, and the scent profile of this is just so clean, man. It's aquatic, it's ambergris, it smells like a clean, obviously synthetic, but very high quality ambergris, along with everything else that you're gonna get. The amber woods, a touch of that pink pepper, maybe some violet. It's a great fragrance and scent profile. This is 100% much better in terms of performance and even scent profile. So the longevity for Axon Ultimate is going to be a solid 7 to 9 hours, and the projection is great. It's about moderate 2 to 3 feet for the first 4 hours. I've gotten compliments while walking into niche shops rocking this fragrance. It's crazy. Final thoughts on Dumont Axon Ultimate. In terms of how close it is, it's like 85-90%. It's so clean. It's such a good fragrance. For the price, it's one of the best fresh cheapies you can get even to this day. Coming in at number 1, but this is such a close battle, is Rosasi Hawas. Rosasi Hawas is the best Invictus Aqua clone. This is about 90% close, I would say, and in terms of its longevity and performance, also probably one of the highest or longest lasting ones. Performance is right there on par with Axon Ultimate. However, the scent quality, I would say, is just about 5% closer to Invictus Aqua. I'd place this at around 85 to 90% now, maybe even like 92% close. The one thing that is different between these two is going to be just like that ambergris, the slight details of all of the accords just seems a hint more refined in Rosasi Hawas. However, the price point differences. I've seen Axon Ultimate go for like 30, sometimes 35, and Hawas I've never personally seen it for less than $40. So at the price difference, it's kind of like really up to you. But ultimately, if you want the absolute best one, it's gonna be Rosasi Hawas. The projection for this one is also moderately high, so it would be 2 to 3 feet at the higher end of the spectrum, and the longevity is easily up to like 10 hours. Fresh, sweet, sexy, compliment getting, that's what all of these are, but the last two are ultimately some of the best ones in terms of compliments, performance, and overall bang for buck, and the best clones of Invictus Aqua. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope this video helped you in any way. My name is Neeb. Thank you for tuning back into AROMATIX, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.